We started coming here just to check it out, and I think that first day of Rob preaching, just saying, love this, live the gospel, love the city, be the church. That be the church was just, I think, the impact that's what I want.
It's really been a big learning experience for me to be more loving to people and what have you, and to walk that life a little, made life a lot easier.
We started Light of Hope to go out and share Jesus' love. And we go out, we hand out bags of food, and we, tell them God loves you and everything. And it's a blessing to them. But to see the smiles on their faces and the appreciation, they appreciate the littlest things that you have for them, that it is such a blessing to us also. Those smiles are amazing. Just for them to feel that someone is looking out for them. They know that when they see us, when they see our cause, that we are out there for God, that we are showing God's love, and they can depend on us on any given Saturday.
More so than the food that we're giving them, it's just like Rose is a big hugger. And I was telling Rob, when she gives him hugs, it's like, man, it's 10 times better than any kind of sandwich or anything you can bring them,
I have really been putting a lot of trust in God. He's been teaching me a lot about trust and about growth and about His timing. And I just think that Vintage is right in God's timing right now. I'm just so happy that we are a part of what Vintage is about to become.
The gospel creates churches. Churches reach cities, and cities impact the world. That has been the driving idea behind Vintage Church for the past 7 years. And it's been one of the most influential things that I have learned as I've developed into the person that I've been through the ministry of Vintage Church over the past 7 years. Just coming into Tulane, meeting Rob Wilton for the first time at a Nacho Mama's, and from the very beginning, he was talking about what it looked like to bring the gospel to the ends of the earth. And just thinking about how much my life has been changed through the ministry of Vintage Church. I mean, it was as a member that I met my wife, Riley. And it was at Vintage that I became a pastor, and that Riley graduated college, and so many things in our life that's happened through the ministry of Vintage Church, but it was never confined just to Vintage. It was never meant to be just about New Orleans. The vision of Vintage Church has always been the world. It's always been as big as the God that we serve. And it was through the ministry of Vintage Church that I started to feel out and sense this possible call to bring the gospel to a place like New York City. To be here in Manhattan, where we are now, and to think about seeing the gospel planted here as well. Something that started all the way back in Louisiana in our lives, that's cultivated in our lives over the past years, and now is displaying itself in a partnership between Vintage and the work that we're doing here. And I'm so thankful for Vintage because I know that it's not just a financial partnership. It's not simply the equipping that happened when I went through a residency program with Pastor Dustin and Pastor Rob, but it was the team at Vintage that helped us seek out our calling and discern whether or not New York was actually the place for us, and if God was calling us to church planting. It was the team at Vintage that prayed over us and commissioned us out over this year-long journey that we took with our church family. And that's why when I think of Vintage and I think of this idea of having more resource for our mission and being able to have more impact for our world, that we can invest in this and we can push and pray for this because we serve a God that this is His driving mission. This is the great commission that we've been given, to go into all of the world. And because of that, we know that He is faithful, He will be successful. And I'm thankful for a church like Vintage that has come alongside us and that is going to be about gospel multiplication to the ends of the earth.